any other day, and Sunday's really my favorite day of the week. And thank you so much. Just because we get to gather, we get to come together and be in this place, but we get to press in and be in the presence of the Lord. And so I just want to say, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everyone being here, and especially in today and age where, like, the statistics of people showing up to church. This is like it used to be 3 weeks people show up, 1 week they take off, and then it slowly went from two to one. 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. Now it's once a month. Now it's 1 out of 8 weeks. 1 out of 8 weeks, people. And so sometimes it's people will come to church like, man, we're singing the same songs. Just gotta think about it. 1 out of 8 weeks. Most people aren't even near any songs once every 8 weeks. It's crazy. I'm so thankful we have a church where, man, you guys are showing up in here. From the bottom of my heart, it means the world. And so this week has been crazy. And normally, you always hear me say, I don't like to address what happens out there and make it an influence in here, because that's not how it should be. What happens in this room should impact and be an influence out there. That is the way it should happen. What should happen is we should not be pipes in the world. We should be sponges in the world, right? We should come into an atmosphere of the Lord, soak up everything we can soak up, go and be squeezed into the world to make an impact and make a difference. That should be our desire as disciples, as men and women of God. However, I cannot help but to address what happened this week at a big scope with our president and the climate of the world that we live in as a shepherd and as a pastor. It's something that we must and we must acknowledge to a point. And so there are two groups of people that and maybe you don't find yourself in any one of these categories. Great. But I've been praying and talking with other pastors and other leaders, and it's always interesting whenever something like this happens, the amount of phone calls I get from the pastors that don't look like me necessarily. Just like asking me, what do I say? What do we do? Like, do we address this? Do we speak on it? Do we say something about it? And it's interesting because most churches strive to be diverse. It's actually one of the most. If you go to any conference or any church room with pastors, one of the struggles is they want to be a diverse church. How do we be a diverse church? If they're a black church, they want to be more white. If they're a white church, they want to be more black. Here at IM Church, it just so happens that your pastors are an interracial couple. We are a diverse church. We have all different types of walks in this room, from black, white, Mexican, Asian, Chinese, to young, old, to thugs, to gangsters, to people ready to set it off, to people who'll pray for you. We got it all here at IM Church, and I love it. I love it, which makes some of this stuff difficult because for us, it's not even a real thing. And so, the thing I will say, and if you're looking for a statement, this is it right here. I think that one, we should not be shocked and surprised. If you are shocked and surprised, we have a problem. Here's why. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. His number one plan is divide. It's Black History Month. It's the beginning of Black History Month. It's our president. It's almost like the devil's on time. It's like on time type of work. And so we should not be shocked and surprised. I tell people oftentimes, if it walk like a duck, quack like a duck, don't think it's a chicken. Let it be a duck. And we know what comes with the man that sits in the president's seat. We need to dive into it. This ain't the first time we've been here, and I guarantee you it won't be the last time we're here. So all the people who are outraged, mad, ready to kill your neighbor and rip their heads off, come on now. Why are we letting this run our emotions high? Why are we letting this trigger us? This is something that we should say, oh, okay, that's just the enemy being the enemy. We should not let it affect us in a way to where we're now changing our character and changing who we are as sons and daughters of the Most High. It's kingdom. It's kingdom. And that's what it should always be. Now to the other side, there's another group of people. And I've had to have these conversations, these tough conversations. Wrong is wrong and right is right. There's a song that says, I remember when wrong was wrong and right was right. I remember when my mom said so and told me to do something that's simply because that's because she told me so. Bottom line. We didn't need no justification. Back in the day when mama said jump, what you do? Jump. Some of these kids, and the 5 of them over there, they hang on my granny and them not giving them everything they want. I said, why? We didn't get 3 different meals. Why they getting 3 different meals? Why you cooking spaghetti for him, macaroni for her, and chicken nuggets for them? We all had to eat broccoli. You ain't grandbabies. I ain't grandbabies no more. But the truth of the matter is, and this is just me I'm just stressed out, man. I've talked to my wife, we're on the same page. I've talked to my pastor. I've talked to Nathan, our executive pastor. We're on the same page. You can still agree with a side and call somebody out for being wrong. Moving the goalposts for this means we move the goalposts for that. And if you're not willing to move the goalposts for that, don't move the goalposts for this. If you're not willing to, if you want to call that out, and I say I'm not talking about people in the room. Everybody looking around like, what are we calling out? I'm talking about the agendas. If you're a liberal and you want to call out what Republicans are doing, conservatives, if you're a conservative and you want to call out what this side is doing, if whatever, don't move the goalposts. Wrong is wrong. And what got posted this week, whether or not you want to admit it or not, was wrong. Period, point blank. Now let's move on. It was wrong. And we gotta hold accountable to what's wrong. But too many times do we want to justify for this side and not hold accountable to that side. It's a two-way street. It's a two-way street. And if you want to justify it, here's what you're doing. You're choosing to idolize a man in spite of thinking kingdom first. It's kingdom first. Kingdom first. Right is right, wrong is wrong. So that's it right there. It should not surprise you. It should not catch you off guard. And we should not justify wrong to make it seem right, all because it's who we voted for. It's where we stand. Because I voted for this. No. It's wrong. And so, please do me a favor. If you call this church your home, this is your home church. We're your people. This is your family. Understand that we in this room, we come from all different types of background. And your pastor and I, meaning Pastor Allie and I, will jump in and fight for everybody in this room. No matter what you look like, no matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through. Why? Because that's what family does. At the end of the day, that's who we are as a church. I don't care where you grew up. I don't care what area code you come from. Now, back in the day, I might have. We might have a question. I might have to scratch my head a couple times and make sure I want to, every time I look at the 49ers hat, I question. They have had them sweaters in their closet all year. They ain't worn them one time. But today they said, oh, we can wear these church today. I said, oh, the Legion of Boom is back, baby. We back. Yes. We are hoping that the Seahawks do win today. I'm sorry. Williams like, no, he got his Patriots. Number 10. I really don't care. It is what it is. I'll be sleeping. No, but hopefully that suffices. If you'd like to process that more with me, there's 3 people you got to meet with before you get to me. Ayana is one of them, and so if you can get the meeting with them, and then you want to come talk to me, great. We'll set up a meeting. But I don't think you can make it past Ayana. I'll tell you right now. Ayana, she might tag team Zaya in there. You might as well go find another church. You might as well go find another church. Because them two right there alone is enough. Is enough. Hey, we're in a series called How to Love, and it's week 2. I'm super excited to say that Pastor Allie will be preaching next week. I say that to say her message is gonna be phenomenal. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for that. And she's going to be talking about some things that I think that will help us on this journey of how to love, and navigating what it looks like to do that. And I had a message planned where I was going to talk about some things, and then last night the Lord was like, "No, you gotta. I want you to address it from this perspective." And so, if you would follow me and just press in a little bit, I think that there's some takeaways from part 2 of the message. We started last week, and we talked about last week love beginning and starting with my business. And this week, we're going to talk about their business. I think it's necessary for us to learn how to deal with and carry their business. There's a lot of opinions in the world today. There's a lot of opinions going on, a lot of opinions out there in the atmosphere on how to do this, and do that. And so today, we're going to unpack what it looks like to be in this place of their business. Last week, one of the scriptures we talked about was Matthew 22, kicking it off with love the Lord your God with all of your heart and soul and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself. Everything hangs on love. Everything starts with love. And so we started talking about my business. There's 3 types of businesses. If you were here last week, we talked about the first one being my business, meaning my personal business, your business. This is your personal business. The second one is their business, meaning other people's business, our friends' business, and what our friends and family got going on. And the third one is God's business. And we talked about how we oftentimes spend a lot of time in their business. And if we spend too much time in their business, we try to turn into God and deal with God's business, but we neglect my business. We talked about the importance of what it looks like to deal with me first, to start with me first. To look in the mirror and to see what is back. And we discovered that most relational frustrations come from living in the wrong lane. Before I correct you, I got to check myself. Before I blame you, I need to examine me. Before I try to fix you, I need to make sure I'm surrendered in the areas of my life to God that I need to be surrendered in. Love starts with my business. Today, we're going to focus on their business. Because not only do some of us just struggle with loving ourselves, we struggle with letting other people be responsible for themselves. Not only do we struggle with looking in the mirror and loving what we see back, we oftentimes struggle with letting other people deal with their own business. We struggle with letting other people deal with their own junk and mess in their life. And I want to unpack here and stay here for a minute, because I think that it's necessary for us to understand that though we've all been called to be safe places for people, that we are not God for people. That we cannot control or manipulate or dictate other people's lives. I had a long conversation yesterday with a guy, and it was on the premise of the whole everything going on in the world today. The premise of, well, this and that, and I agree with this, I don't agree with this, I agree with that, I agree with this, and this person should have to do this, and this person should be this, and abortion came up, and gay marriage came up, and all the topics in the world of pastor, where do you stand on this? Where do you stand on this as a leader? Where are you at on this? I want to know where you stand on this, and my answer kind of shocked him. It kind of shocked him a little bit. And I said, well, I think that if you were to go to God and ask God, God, should I have an abortion? He would tell you that it's your choice and your decision. But I would highly encourage you not to. See, we serve a God of free will. We serve a God of this decisions that we make in our lives are our decisions. We serve a God that says, hey, this is your choice. However, there are consequences to the decisions that we make. However, there's some things that come along with the decisions we make that oftentimes, sometimes we neglect the flip side of it. But here's the truth of the matter. Salvation is a gift freely given. Whether or not you receive it or not is your choice. God did not make us robots and put us in a system that says we all must give our life to Christ and we all will give our life to Christ and we all will be in heaven. No, the truth of the matter is there are some people in your life that will not make it to heaven. As harsh as that sounds, as tough as that pill may be to swallow, there are some people that will get to the gates and stand before the Lord and he will say, apart from me, you never knew me. Now, if it was up to Dom, nobody that I know would be in that line. But the truth of the matter is, I can't make the decision for you. You have to make the decision for yourself. And if that's the greatest decision you'll ever make, and I can't control that, what makes you think that I can control any other decisions in your life? What makes you think I should have the right to control any other decisions in your life? The truth of the matter is, you have to make the decision for yourself in life, daily, to pick up your cross and carry it. You have to make the decisions as much as I would want to carry it for you. I can't. You can't. When you get to heaven, guess what? The Lord is not going to ask you, hey, Robbie, why didn't you force Alyssa to make the right decision? The Lord's going to ask Robbie, what did you do with what I gave you? How did you steward the life I gave you? Not how did somebody else steward their life? But here's the key. Your life can be the very thing needed to influence someone else to make the right decision. Based on how you live your life can dictate whether or not somebody chooses to follow Jesus or not. Based off the fruit you produce, based off of the things that you allow people to see and reflect in your life, may determine somebody saying, I want what she got. I want what they got. I want what he got. But if your life is not on display in a healthy way, we will find ourselves in a place trying to control and manipulate and dictate other people's life when we have no business, no right, and no control in that area. Does that make sense? That's a little harsh, but it's straight. I gotta be just straightforward with it to understand that their business is their business. Their business is their business. Now, I can influence their business based off of how I live my life. But I cannot dictate their business or control their business with what I want them to do. Because I wish, and I hope, and I pray, and I plead that everyone would give their life to Christ. But I know that's not reality. I pray and I hope that no one would make the decision to give up a baby. But I know that's not the reality. I pray and I hope that no one would choose to live a life out of God's will. But I know that's not reality. I know it's not. And does it break my heart? Yes. But what does it push me to do? To hate them? No. Control them? No. Condemn them? No. to love them to life in such a way that they would want to experience God's will and the fullness that he has for their life. Anybody who's out of God's will, that is the desire. That is the mission of this church. That is the heartbeat of who we are. We are a church that says we're on mission to love people to life by leading them to Jesus. Why? Because we want everybody to be seen, known, and loved by God. That's who we are as a church. We're not in this agenda. We're not in this, that. No. There's no control on this side. We are living our life unto the Lord so that people can experience the goodness of Christ in us and through us. Point number one, if you're taking notes, I got 3 of them, and we're gonna be out of here. The first one is this: loving people without controlling them. How do I love their business? How do I love them in their place? Number one is loving people without controlling them. This is where relationships get messy. We start to try to manage others' decisions. We try to fix their mistakes. We try to speed up their growth process. We try to hurry up the growth in their life. We try to tell them that they need to hurry up and be somewhere. But that's not love. That's control. Jesus never forced transformation. Hear me. Jesus never forced transformation. All throughout Scripture, Jesus gave choices. Hey, let the dead bury the dead. Follow me. I'll make you disciples, fishermen of men. That's a choice. It's a choice. Jesus didn't say, hey, man, lead them there. Come on. Get up. He didn't do that. Give them a choice. He invited them. He said, come on, be with me. Do life with me. The rich young ruler, we talked about it. Nathan preached on this a couple weeks ago. The rich young ruler was with Jesus. What must I do to inherit the kingdom? What does he say? You must sell all of this. Everything, leave it behind. Why? Because Jesus knew that his heart was more attached to those things, and that's where his heart was. And Jesus wasn't after his things, he was after his heart. But the young rich ruler was focused on the things. It's sometimes people hear this scripture and they think that we're telling people they got to live a broke life or they can't have things. No. Where's your heart? If your heart is caught up in those things, then sure, we got to talk about it. If your heart's caught up in your success, that's what we're after. Give up that success. If your heart is caught up in this or that, Jesus is after your heart. And Jesus knew the young rich ruler's heart was attached to those things. And so he says, give it all up, lay it all down. And what does the young rich ruler do? He says, nope. It is not going to happen. And guess what? Jesus let him walk away. One of my favorite stories in the Bible to preach is John chapter 6. All the thousands of people that just got fed by Jesus. Jesus had some truth, honesty with him. I'm the bread of life. Eat of my flesh, drink of my blood, and you'll have everything you need. That wasn't enough for them. They wanted another miracle. They wanted another rub the bottle genie moment. And the Bible says that thousands walked away from him that day. Thousands. And what did he do? He stood there and let him walk away. With all the hurt, all of the man feeling abandoned, he let him walk away. He looked at the 12. He said, you're going to leave me too? This is John chapter 6, verse 48. Peter says, where shall we go? You have the words of eternal life. Well, I'm not going to leave you. What they didn't do is they didn't shame everyone else for leaving. They just stayed. That was their choice to stay. And because of that choice to stay, we now get to experience heaven on earth in such a radical way. Come on, talk about the 12 staying. The audacity, I love it. But that was a choice that they made. They were not forced unto that. Jesus asked them if they were leaving, and they said no. Romans 12:18 says, if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. It doesn't say live at peace with some people. It says live at peace with everyone. Now, that word peace, my TV's off, so I don't have a clock, so that means I get to kind of be a little, but that word peace, if I can give you some context to it, some biblical context to it, that word peace in the Old Testament, you remember I preached on it, it means at war. Be at war with no one, right? David was at war with everyone all the time. So much so that his son Solomon, when he built the temple, when he built the house for the Lord, he said, unlike my father who was at war, I'm at war with no one, which allowed me to build the house for the Lord. So read this, says, if it's possible, as far as it depends on you, so it depends on me, live at peace with everyone. Don't be at war with anyone. Don't be at war with anyone. We may disagree on life. We may disagree on where we stand. We may disagree on some topics. We may disagree on some things. But that doesn't mean we need to be at war with each other. That don't mean we have to hate one another. That don't mean, no. We're all different human beings, different people, different thought processes. Just because we don't agree doesn't mean we got to fight and always be. I've never understood that. I love being in rooms with people that don't think like me. I love new perspectives. If I'm in a room with a bunch of people that think like me, I'm going to go crazy. Because I'll be like, boy, shut up. I be wanting to tell myself to shut up. I'm like, oh, be quiet. You're all over the place. That's why I love being in rooms with people that don't think like me, because I get to be challenged. As far as it depends on you, that the phrase matters. That means this: you have to do your part. They do theirs. Here's a line. You're taking notes. Love invites change. It doesn't enforce it. Love invites change. I had this intern who loved, he was always at home, and he never went to parties, he never drank, he never did anything. And he wondered why he had no friends. It's because he would always get on to the people around him who drank and who got drunk and went to parties. He would always call them out. He said, man, I wonder why nobody's around me. They won't listen to me, Pastor. I'm trying to get them to show up, but they won't. And I said, hey, it's because you're trying to lead them to conviction. The problem is you can't lead if you have no followers. And so now you're trying to force them to a place where they don't want to go. What you need to do is you need to love them to conviction. He says, Pastor, how do I do that? I said, well, you stop calling them out, first of all. And you just start loving them. And when they start talking about going to the parties, going to clubs, you're like, oh man, that's cool. I'm gonna go home. Love you. You check on them when they get home. You make sure they're safe. You make sure they're good. You need anything you need me to pick you up. I mean, why you want to be there for me? Because I love you. I know that God has much more for your life than this. But until you get to that realization, I just want you to know I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to be here for you, and I'm going to be what's set apart in your life. If you need me, call me. I'm not going to go to these environments with you, but I'm here. I'm not going to dwell in these things with you, but I'm here. He began to do that instantly. Instantly. Instantly, he began to bring people to church. People began to show up with him. He began to grow his leadership. Why? Because people felt loved by him. People want to feel loved, guys. Not in fault. We love. Love invites change. Point number 2. Being a safe place without taking ownership. How do I love them? How do I love their business? How do I love people in their business? How do I love people in their business? It's being a safe place without taking ownership. We are called to be a safe place for people, but we are not called to be their saviors. Galatians 6:2 says this: carry each other's burdens. Right? That's what Galatians 6:2 tells us, to carry each other's burdens. Right? We're supposed to do life with one another. But then a couple verses later, check this out. Verse 5 says this: each one should carry their own load. So one verse says to carry each other's burden. 3 verses later it says each one should carry their own load. That's not a contradiction. That's not the Bible rubbing and frictioning. That's not a moment where the writer in Galatians felt this like turn and like, well, I disagree with what I said. No. What it is this. Check this out. It's called balance. It's called balance. A burden is something that's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. Things are over. We jump in when it's overwhelming. We no. We jump in there. When somebody calls and they need help, we help them, and when it's overwhelming. But here's the thing: a load is personal responsibility. We let people take care of their personal. Man, hear me. One thing I cannot stand. Holy Spirit, give me the words to not just come out. Is when those who see people who are willing to be generous, they all of a sudden have this posture to begin to take advantage of the generosity of people. And we forfeit our personal load, and we make it their personal business and their personal load and their burden, and we become a burden, and we become, every time we walk in a room, it's, I'm not looking at them because I don't want nobody to think I'm talking about them. I'm not, like I'm trying to be, like, here's the thing. My son, he will do this. He'll come downstairs. Bro, go back upstairs. I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you one more time. Go back upstairs, and until you're ready to have a conversation, don't come back down here. He walk back upstairs. All of a sudden, he come around back in the corner. I'm ready. I'm like, bro, all you got to do is come down here and tell me what's wrong. Like, just tell me what's wrong. But it's the sign. I want you to feel bad for me before I speak, because I want to emotionally tug the strings, and I want you to hear the emotion. No, you got some personal responsibility to carry. Stop putting it on other people. So when you wake up in the morning, I get life is hard. I think life is rough. I get it. I've lived a life. We live a life that's difficult. But guess what? You got breath in your lungs. Get up and go get it. Stop putting it on other people. Stop expecting other people to just come in and to do it. Put the work in. Yes, I understand asking for help. I'm like, please hear me say this. We are a generous church. Please don't let the enemy get a hold of my words and twist them. That's one thing about asking for help. There's another when communicating in such a way that you make people feel like your problems is now their burdens. Let me set somebody free right now. Stop letting people take advantage of your heart. And put up some healthy boundaries. And put up some healthy hedges. And let's say no. Say no. Here's what we do. If I'm being honest, Nathan is a vital part of I Am Church. Why? Because it's easy to walk up Pastor Dom and ask Pastor Dom for something. Because I'll be like, you want the shirt? All right. Nathan like, no, sir. Pastor, keep your shirt on. Keep your, hey, we don't got it in the budget. We got to move around. Got to do it. I'm like, whoo. Oh, thank you. Well, thank you. It's okay to surround yourself. Get it? I'm a yes guy. I got to surround myself with no people. I have to. Pastor Allie is a no. She's sweet and nice. But she only says yes to our kids. Our kids, boy, I got to be the one to give them whoopings. They said, you're the only one that gives us whoopings. It's because I'm sent on assignments, okay? I'm sent on assignment. I'm on assignment. That means your mom sent me in here, so you really should be mad at your mama, not me. That's what you really be mad at. It's a balance. Supporting people in crisis is necessary, but don't take ownership of their life. You can walk with people. You don't have to carry them. Jesus modeled this perfectly. He loved deeply. He listened fully. He spoke truth clearly. But here's what he didn't do. He didn't chase everyone. He didn't remove every consequences from everyone's life. And he doesn't control the outcome of the day-to-day life we live. Be a safe place, not a storage unit. Be a safe place, not a storage unit. You can care without carrying. And that's hard for some. It's hard for some. Listen, one thing I don't ever have a problem with is helping those who are go-getters. I look around the room right now and I see a bunch of go-getters. I know the stories. And I know the grinds. And I know life, sometimes we get punched in the mouth. I done been there. I done had to call Pastor Paul and say, hey, I need $10,000. And guess what Pastor Paul says? All right, I got you, son. That's a true story in 2 years. We've had to call him and ask. I know, listen, I'm not preaching against knocking on the door and asking for help. I am preaching against, and I'm trying to free some people to say that if I call Pastor Paul and say, hey, I need $10,000 by the end of the week, and he says, I don't have it, that's okay. I should not make him feel bad. He should not feel bad. He just communicated, I don't have it. And that's when we move on. But I got to carry the responsibility, the personal responsibility of my life. Does that make sense? Are we clear? We good? I don't want to ruffle any feathers. Someone who loves conflict. I sure do get up here sometimes, and I kind of tiptoe. Big man. And it's not because I don't like conflict. I do. I just love you, and I don't want you to ever mishear my heart. I don't want you to mishear my heart, and how much, like, we love you, we care for you, we are who we are. We're gonna always be who we are, and we ain't changing that for nobody. But I do not hear me, man. It frustrates me when I hear people in our church being taken advantage of.